In the world of professional wrestling, few names command as much respect as Chyna. She was a powerhouse, a trailblazer, and for a time, one of WWE's biggest stars. But like many who reached the top, her fall was just as dramatic as her rise.
Oh yeah, Simon. Let's just set the stage for the most heartbreaking Shakespearean tragedy, except with more steel chairs to the face.
That's an oversimplification.
It's literally what happened. There were chairs, there was tragedy. Shakespeare would have booked her in a ladder match against Hamlet.
Regardless, Chyna's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. Born Joanie Laurer, she defied every expectation in an industry dominated by men. Her strength, both physically and mentally, paved the way for female wrestlers today.
And her biceps probably had their own zip code. Seriously, I think she could deadlift me and my crippling emotional baggage.
Yeah, that may be so, but her journey in life as a teenager took a turn for the worst when she was kicked out into the street by her mother at 16 years old and forced to live homeless. Her strength was forged in struggle. Joanie's teenage years were especially rough. She grew up in a volatile household marked by instability and parental conflicts. By the time she was a teenager, her home life had become unbearable. She faced emotional and physical challenges at home, and at one point she was forced to leave, finding herself homeless with nowhere stable to go.
Ah, the classic life kicks you in the face before you even get started origin story.
Exactly. But Joanie wasn't the type to just accept defeat. Even while struggling to find a stable home, she focused on her education, excelling in school, and dreaming of a better future. She moved from place to place, staying with friends when she could, sometimes living out of her car. But she refused to let her circumstances define her.
That's some next-level resilience. I panic when I run out of snacks, let alone a place to live.
She worked multiple jobs to support herself, waiting tables, working in a club, even singing in a band. She pushed through, earning a scholarship and making it to college, where she studied Spanish and even spent time abroad. Her goal was to work for the FBI, and for a while, it seemed like her life was finally stabilizing.
So let me get this straight. Before she was powerbombing dudes, she was homeless, a polyglot, a musician, and almost an FBI agent. She wasn't just a one-of-a-kind wrestler. She was basically an action movie protagonist.
That's right. She had already overcome so much before ever stepping foot in a wrestling ring. Her journey into wrestling was just another chapter in an already incredible life.
Okay, but now I kinda want an alternate universe where she's a crime-fighting bilingual rock star who suplexes bad guys.
That sounds like a missed opportunity, but back to reality.
Fine. She grew up in a volatile household, marked by instability and parental conflicts. By the time she was a teenager, her home life had become unbearable, and she eventually found herself homeless.
In 1997, she debuted in the WWF as the Muscle for D-Generation X, a group that redefined wrestling with their rebellious attitude.
Ah, DX, where degenerate was a personality trait. Chyna was like the bouncer at the club who'd actually throw you through the door.
Exactly. She was unique. She wasn't just eye candy or a valet. She was an enforcer, a woman in a man's world, and she thrived.
She also barely spoke. She just stood there, arms crossed, looking like she could rip Triple H in half, which honestly I would have paid money to see.
And yet, she became one of the most influential wrestlers of the Attitude Era, holding her own against men, winning the Intercontinental Championship twice, a feat no woman had achieved before or since.
Basically, she walked into the boys' locker room, kicked down the door and took their toys, and nobody could stop her.
But, as with many wrestling careers, things didn't stay at the top forever. The early 2000s marked the beginning of Chyna's fall from grace.
Ah yes, the classic, you were on top of the world, and now we're going to act like we don't know you storyline. WWE loves that one.
It wasn't just WWE. Her personal life played a massive role. The end of her relationship with Triple H, coupled with the emergence of Stephanie McMahon as his new love interest, created tensions behind the scenes.
You mean to tell me that the boss's daughter ended up dating the top guy and the ex got booted? Shocking. That never happens in real life. Ever.
It was more complicated than that.
Oh, totally. I'm sure there was a nuanced conversation where Triple H said, "Listen, Chyna, it's not you. It's just that I'm contractually obligated to marry into the McMahon dynasty."
Whatever the case, by 2001, Chyna's WWE career was over. Her exit was abrupt with her final match at Judgment Day.
She won her last match, though. That's like getting fired but being allowed to flip off your boss on the way out.
After WWE, things got difficult. She attempted to transition into other entertainment fields, but nothing truly stuck.
You mean reality shows, low-budget movies and, well, that other industry?
Yes, she made decisions that further distanced her from the mainstream wrestling world. Because after leaving WWE, Chyna's life took a series of turns, and one of the most tumultuous periods came during her relationship with Sean Waltman, better known as X-Pac. The two had a volatile and at times toxic relationship marked by substance abuse and constant conflict.
Oh great, because what Chyna really needed after getting dumped by Triple H was another wrestler with bad decision-making skills and a camcorder.
Their relationship was anything but stable. Both of them were struggling with personal demons, and their time together was riddled with fights, breakups, and reconciliations. But the most infamous aspect of their relationship came in the form of a private tape, one that Chyna didn't consent to being made public.
Oh yeah, because when you think of romance, you think of secretly filming your girlfriend and then letting the whole world see it. Real stand-up move by X-Pac.
The tape, which was allegedly filmed without Chyna's full knowledge, ended up being distributed as an adult film titled One Night in China. The fallout was catastrophic for Chyna. Instead of being known as a groundbreaking wrestler, the media latched onto the scandal, reducing her to a punchline.
And just like that, she went from badass trailblazer to that woman from the tape overnight. Because society loves to ruin a woman's reputation, but will throw a high five to the guy involved.
Exactly. The tape's release took a massive toll on Chyna's mental health. She was already dealing with the aftermath of her WWE exit, and now she was fighting another battle, this time against the stigma and exploitation that came with the situation.
Meanwhile, X-Pac just walked away, still got booked for indie shows and nobody cared. Amazing how that works.
Chyna tried to take control of the narrative, but the damage was done. She was struggling with addiction, battling depression, and at times, she tried to make peace with her past. But the industry had largely turned its back on her, and instead of helping her rebuild, it watched from a distance as she spiraled out of control.
Wrestling, where they'll put you in the Hall of Fame only after you're gone but won't lift a finger while you're still around and struggling.
The betrayal wasn't just from WWE. Many people she had trusted took advantage of her, and the exploitation continued. Chyna was fighting a battle she couldn't win alone.
And the worst part, she never got the redemption story she deserved.
But she tried. After the scandal, Chyna left the US and moved to Japan, where she attempted to rebuild her life. She taught English, practiced Buddhism, and distanced herself from the chaos that had defined her post-WWE years.
Japan, the land of second chances and sushi. Honestly, not the worst place to reset your life.
It seemed like she was finding peace, but deep down she still wanted recognition for what she'd accomplished in wrestling. She reached out to WWE multiple times, hoping for a reconciliation, but she was largely ignored.
Oh, so now WWE develops selective amnesia. Right, they can remember to induct every single version of Ric Flair, but not the woman who literally changed the game.
Exactly. The rejection, combined with ongoing personal struggles, led Chyna back into a cycle of addiction and instability.
And what makes it even worse? Every now and then, she'd make a public plea to be accepted back into WWE, and they'd just brush it off.
There were a few interviews where she openly talked about wanting to return, even asking Triple H and WWE management to acknowledge her contributions. But instead of addressing her directly, Triple H made a comment in an interview saying that Chyna couldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of what kids might find if they Googled her.
Oh wow, as if WWE isn't responsible for half of the questionable content kids find when they Google Attitude Era.
It was a gut punch. She was willing to move past everything to be recognized for what she had done, and yet she was constantly denied.
And her health just kept declining. She was dealing with addiction, memory loss, and mental health struggles, and it was clear that she needed help.
But the help never really came. She was in and out of rehab, trying to get clean, but the years of substance abuse had taken a serious toll. She had lost friends, burned bridges, and was largely alone in her fight.
It's heartbreaking. She went from being one of the biggest stars in the world to someone struggling just to survive. And the worst part, nobody in power seemed to care enough to step in.
The industry she helped shape had abandoned her, and as her physical and mental health deteriorated, so did her hope for a real comeback. She was suffering from anxiety, depression, and lingering trauma from her past. And yet, despite it all, she still held on to the dream of being recognized for what she had accomplished.
And that's the cruelest part. She never got the closure she wanted.
On April 20th, 2016, Chyna was found dead in her home. The cause was ruled as an accidental overdose, a mix of alcohol and prescription medication. She was only 46.
And just like that, she was gone. No grand comeback, no redemption arc, just another wrestling tragedy.
But even in death, she wasn't given the respect she deserved. WWE took years to acknowledge her impact, only inducting her into the Hall of Fame as part of DX in 2019 instead of on her own.
Oh yeah, because clearly, she was just a supporting character in DX. Not like she was a history-making, glass-ceiling-smashing icon or anything.
Despite everything, Chyna's legacy still endures. She paved the way for women in wrestling, proved that female wrestlers could be just as dominant as men, and left behind a career that will never be forgotten.
She was more than just the ninth wonder of the world. She was Chyna. And the wrestling world was better because of her.
And that's why we'll always remember her, not just for how she fell, but for everything she fought through to rise in the first place.
And that's the story of Chyna, folks. If you like this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments. What are your favourite Chyna moments?
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.